Chapter 17 of Martha by the Day. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Martha by the Day by Julie M. Lippmann. Chapter 17. Well now, what do you think of that? Ain't it the end of the law? The high-handed way he has of doing things. Think of the likes of me closing up my town house and taking my family, including Flicker and Nick's Comer house, to the country place for all the world like I was a lady, born and bred. Sammy, you sit still in your seat and eat the candy Mr. Blennerhassett brought you, and quit your rubbering, or the train'll start suddenly and give you a twist in your neck you won't get over in a hurry. Ma, you comfortable? Cora and Francie, see, you behave like little ladies, or I'll attend to you later. See how quiet Sabina is. Say, Sabina, what you doing? Now what do you think of that? If that child ain't dropped off to sleep, sucking the red plush of the seat, for all the world like she didn't have a wink of rest last night, or a bite or a sup this morning, and she slept the clock round and ate a breakfast fit for a trooper. Say, Sabina, here, wake up. Take your tongue off in that beautiful cotton-back plush, do you hear? In the first place, the gentleman that owns this railroad don't want their upholstery et by little girls, and besides, it's making your mouth all red. In second place, the cars isn't the time to sleep, leastwise not so early in the morning. Miss Clare, child, don't look so scared. You ain't committing no crime going along with us, and he'll never suspicion anyhow. He's probably on the Bountain Biller by this time, and Mr. Blennerhassett, he don't know you from a hole in the ground. Besides, whose business is it anyway? You ain't going as his guest, and I told you before you're my boarder, same as you've always been, and it's nobody's concern if you board down here or up there. Say, ain't these flowers just grand? The box looks kinder like a young coffin, but never mind that. A body would think all that fruit and stuff was enough of a send-off, but Lord, Mr. Ronald, he don't do things by halves, does he? It wouldn't seem so surprising now if he'd knew you was coming along, and all this, Mr. Blennerhassett himself helping look after us and see us off, as if I was a little tender flower that didn't know a railroad ticket from a trunk check. I say, it wouldn't seem so surprising if he'd knew you was coming along. I'd think it was on your account. What they calls delicate attentions, the sort of thing a gentleman does when he's got his eye on a young lady for his wife, and is sort of breaking it to her gently, kinder beckoning with the barn door, as the saying is. But Mr. Ronald ain't the faintest notion but you've gone back to your folks in Grand Rapids, and so all these favours is for me, of course. Well, I certainly take to luxury like a duck takes to water. I never knew it was so easy to feel comfortable. I guess I've been a little hard on the wealthy in the past. Now, if you should marry a rich man, I don't believe—" Claire sighed wearily. "I'll never marry anybody, Martha, and besides, a rich man wouldn't be likely to go to a cheap boarding-house for a wife, and next winter Oh, isn't it warm? Don't you wish the train would start?" At last the train did start, and they were whirled out of the steaming city, over the hills and far away, through endless stretches of sunlit country, in the long, long hours of the hot summer day, until at night they reached their destination and found Sam Slosson waiting there in the cool twilight to welcome them. Followed days of rarest bliss for Martha, when she could marshal out her small forces, setting each his particular task and seeing it was done with thoroughness and despatch, so that in an inconceivably short time her new home shone with all the spotless cleanliness of the old, and added comeliness beside. "Ain't it the little palace?" she inquired when all was finished. "I wouldn't change my lodge for the great house, grand as it is, not for anything you could offer me. Nor I wouldn't call the Queen my cousin, now we're all in it together. I'm feeling that joyful I'd like to have what they calls a house warming, only there ain't, by the looks of it, any neighbours much to swarm." "No," said Ma regretfully, "I noticed there ain't no neighbours to speak of." "Well, then, we can't speak of them," returned Martha, "which'll save us from falling under God's wrath as gossips. There's never any great loss without some small gain." "But we must have some sort of jollification," Claire insisted. "Doesn't your wedding day, the anniversary of it, I mean, come round about this time? You said the 4th, didn't you?" Martha nodded. "Sam Slosson and me'll be 15 years married come 4th of July," she announced. "We chose that day because we was so poor we knew we couldn't do nothing great in the line of celebration ourselves, so we just kind of managed it so's without inconveniencing the nation any, or adding unduly to its expenses, it would do our celebrating for us. You ain't no notion how grand it makes a body feel to be woke up at the crack of dawn on one's wedding morning with the noise of the bombarding in honour of the day. I'm like to miss it this year, with only my own 4 young Yankees spoiling my sleep, setting off torpedoes under my nose." "You won't miss anything," said Claire assuringly, "but you mustn't say a word to Sam, and you mustn't ask any questions yourself, for what is going to happen is to be a wonderful surprise." "You bet your life it is," murmured Martha complacently to herself, after Claire had hastened off to confer with the children and plan a programme for the great day. Ma to make the wedding cake, Cora to recite her piece, Francie and Sammy to be dressed as pages and bear each a tray, spread with the gifts it was to be her own task and privilege to contrive, Sabina to hover over all as a sort of Cupid, who, if somewhat hefty as to avoirdupois, was in all other respects a perfect little love. It seemed as if the intervening days were winged, so fast they flew. Claire never could have believed there was so much to be done for such a simple festival, and of course the entire weight fell on her shoulders, for Ma was as much of a child in such matters as any, and Martha could not be appealed to, being the bride, and moreover being away at the great house, where tremendous changes were in progress. But at last came the wonderful day, and everything was in readiness. First a forenoon of small explosive delights for the children, then, as the day waned, a dinner eaten outdoors, picnic fashion on the grass, under the spreading trees, beneath the shadows of the mighty mountain tops. What difference if Ma's cake, crowning a perfect feast, had suffered a little in the frosting, and its touching sentiment, traced in snowy lettering upon a bridal white ground, did read, 15 years of marred life. It is sometimes one's ill luck to misspell a word, and though a wedding cake is usually large, and this was no exception, the space was limited, and besides, no one but Sam Senior and Miss Lang noticed it anyhow. A quizzical light in his eye, Mr. Slosson scrawled on a scrap of paper which he passed to Claire with apologies for the liberty, the words, "She'd been nearer the truth if she'd left out the 2 R's while she was about it, and had it 15 years of mad life." Then came Cora's piece, her courtesy, right foot back, knees slightly bent, right hand on left side, presumably over heart, actually over stomach, chin diving into the bony hollow of her neck. Cora's courtesy was a thing to be remembered. "Lady Claire," she announced it with ceremony, and this time Martha noticed the recalcitrant garter held fast to its moorings. "'Twas the time when lilies blow and clouds are highest up in air. Lord Ronald brought a lily-white doe." "His," prompted Martha in a loud stage whisper. "His, not a." Cora accepted the correction obediently, but her self-confidence was shaken. She managed to stammer, "Give to his cousin, Lady Claire," and then a storm of tears set in, drowning her utterance. "Well, what do you think of that?" exclaimed Martha, amazed at the undue sensitiveness of her offspring. "Never mind, Cora, you done it grand, as far as you went." To cover this slight mishap, Claire gave a hurried signal to the pages, who appeared forthwith in splendid form, if a little overweighted by the burdens they bore. In some strange way, Claire's simple gifts had been secretly augmented until they piled up upon the trays, twin mountains of treasure. When the first surprise was past and the wonders examined and exclaimed over, Martha bent toward Claire from her seat of honour on the grass. "Didn't I think to tell you Mr. Blennerhassett come up on the early train? Sammy, he drove down to the station himself to meet him. Mr. Blennerhassett brought up all them grand things for Mr. Ronald, ain't he? I mean, Mr. Ronald, a caution to have remembered that day. I've been so took up with things over there to the great house, I must have forgot to tell you about Mr. Blennerhassett. Ain't everything just elegant? It's pretty, the way the night comes down up here, with the sharp pinheads of stars pricking through one by one. They don't seem like that in the city, do they? And the moon's coming up great." Claire's eyes were fixed on the grassy slope ahead. "Who are those three men over there?" she asked. "What are they doing? I can't make out in the dusk anything but shadow forms." "Sam and Mr. Blennerhassett and another fella from the neighbourhood. Mr. Blennerhassett, he brought up some fireworks to surprise the young uns, and they're going to set 'em off. It's early yet, but the sooner it's over, the sooner to sleep, and the kids has had an exciting day." Up shot a rocket, drawing the children's breaths skyward with it in long-drawn ahs of perfect ecstasy. Then pinwheels, some of which, not to belie their nature, balked obstinately, refusing to be coerced or wheedled into doing their duty. "Say, now, mother," cried Francie excitedly, "that pinwheel, in the middle of it was a cork. When it got over spinning fast, I saw the cork." "Don't you ever do that no more," cautioned Martha. "Never you see the cork. It's the light you want to keep your eye on," which, as Claire thought it over, seemed to her advice of a particularly shrewd and timely nature. She was still pondering this and some other things when she felt Mrs. Slauson's hand on her shoulder. "It's over now, and I'm going to take the young uns in and put 'em to bed. But don't you stir. Just you sit there a while in the moonlight and enjoy the quiet and peace by yourself. You done a hard day's work, and you give me and Sammy what we won't forget in a hurry. So you just stay out here a few minutes, or as long as you want her, away from the children's clatter, and God bless you." Claire's gaze, following the great form affectionately, saw it pass into the darker shadows, then forth out into the light that shone from the open door of the lodge. "She's home, and they're together." Unconsciously she spoke her grateful thought aloud. "Yes, she's home, and they're together." The words were repeated very quietly, but there was that in the well-known voice so close at hand that seemed to Claire to shake the world. In an instant she was upon her feet, gazing up, speechless, into Francis Ronald's baffling eyes. "You are very kind to everyone," he said, "but for me you have only a sting, and yet I love you." Martha was still busy wrestling with the pyramid of dishes left over from the feast when at last Claire came in alone. "Did you get a chance to compose yourself and quiet down some under the stars?" inquired Mrs. Slauson. "It's been a noisy day with lots doing. I don't wonder you're so tired. Your cheeks is fairly blazing with it, and your eyes are shining like little lamps." You knew he was here," said Claire accusingly. "He? Who? Ah, you mean Mr. Ronald. Didn't I think to tell you? He came up along with Mr. Blennerhassett. I've been so frustrated with all the unexpected surprises of the day, it must have slipped my mind." "I've seen Mr. Ronald," Claire said. "I've spoken with him." "Now, what do you think of that? Wonders never cease." "Do you know what I did?" "Cert me." "I told him the truth." "Well, and?" "I'm going to marry him." Mrs. Slauson sat down hard upon the nearest chair, as if the happy shock had deprived her of strength to support her own weight. "No!" she fairly shouted. "Yes!" cried Claire. "And oh, Martha, I'm so happy. And did you ever dream such a thing could possibly happen?" "Well, You certainly have given me a start. I often thought how I'd like to see Mr. Ronald, your financier, or your trousseau, or whatever they call it, but that it would really come to pass." She paused. "Oh, you don't know how I dreaded next winter," Claire said, as if she were thinking aloud. "I went over it, and I went over it in my mind, what I'd do, where I'd go, and now I couldn't take that fine job you had your eye on for me, not even if it had come to something. Don't you remember? I mean, the splendid job you had the idea about that first night I was sick. I shan't need it now, shall I, Martha?" "You got it," said Martha. Claire's wide eyes opened wider in wonderment. She stared silently at Mrs. Slawson for a moment. Then the light began to break in upon her slowly, but with unmistakable illumination. "You don't mean—" she stammered. "Certainly," said Martha. End of chapter 17, and the end of Martha by the Day by Julie M. Lippmann. Read for Librivox.org by Sandra.